23rd Street in the Stanford Station Shopping Center near Academy Sports. Barbaritos. Food, community, people.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters and mom and dad and grandpa and grandma need them.
Thank you, first responders.
This is what I signed up for as a first responder. I am constantly worried about being exposed to this virus and potentially bringing it back to my home and my family. I'm going to continue going to work day in and day out and providing help to those that need it.
We look out for the helpers because they look out for us. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Thank you, first responders. Love you. Mwah.
Be safe, look after yourself, and look after one another. Thanks.
Learn how you can help first responders in your community by texting BRAVE to 24365.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome to the house. It's time for the Afternoon Underdogs.
It's happening.
Wow.
It's on right now.
Opinionated and unfiltered. The hot takes, the rants, and the sports talk you crave.
Give it to me.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on? You're now in the doghouse out here in Pier Park. We're at Dave and Buster's. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe, the not-so-forgotten coast. I'm David Hayes along with Kyle Wright.
Yeah.
And we've got a special guest today with us out here in Pier Park. We've got Ian Malone, which of course you guys know. He's been on the show with us before, not too long ago, right there before Daytona. So we'll talk a little NASCAR. We're going to start it off with a bang, talking some Florida State. We should have Drew Gorman in the building with us at some point in time. And now the assistant general manager of Dave and Buster's herself, Amanda Muller. Amanda, how's it going today?
Hi, guys. I love this shirt.
Thank you. So, yeah, we got the Billfish thing going on down there at Bay Point, and so Ryan wanted us to all kind of dress up like we were going on the boat.
Definitely. Titans hat is good. I love
Titans hat.
hat.
I was wearing a straw hat for a little bit today, so it really looked like I was on Amanda's boat out there fishing with Nick or something.
I dressed as a whale.
A whale.
A beached whale.
A beached whale. Yeah.
On land. A land whale. Like
a land whale.
Like a floating sea potato.
A land
I used
whale.
to give a lot of, I used to razz a lot of the straw hat wearers, but
Then you got one.
then I got one. And I understand, the premise, like it covers your neck and all the things. And I was like, not so shabby straw hat.
Yeah.
I don't own one myself.
You need to get one. I think it's good for the boat.
I think it's bad for the hair.
Bad for the hair?
So yeah, like the hair.
Yeah,
is
but dump it in the salt water or whatever, and then you're good to go again, right? Yeah. Your hair, I'm talking about, not the straw hat.
Well, I mean, just like if you put your hair up and then it's caught in the straw.
I hate those.
Yeah.
I have that issue all the time.
You have that
and
issue
it's just,
a lot, I bet.
those little strands that be popping up out of nowhere.
I'm just gonna sit here and live vicariously through all of you guys.
Ian, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I got a little bit that grows up there, but it doesn't grow at a very fast rate. So at the end of the day, the sides are always longer than the top.
Gotcha.
That's fun.
After a while, you just pick it, man. It looks good in a convertible. It looks good in jeans and flip-flops, man.
There you go, man.
Couldn't
it
agree
looks
more.
good no matter which way that you go. But yeah, we've got a great show planned for you guys. We have the Goat of Goat Sports Movies. That's going to be today at 4:20, and we are going to be in the Sweet 16. We've only got one matchup that we've got to make the pick for, and that's going to be We Are Marshall, and they're going up against Karate Kid. Is it Karate Kid 1 or Karate Kid 2?
Just Karate Kid. The Karate Kid 1.
Okay.
The OG. So I think Ian said it on the way here, or one of you two. It's Legacy versus like
I definitely didn't say that. That would make
that
way
was you, right?
Legacy versus a great story and a great film.
And a true story.
Yep.
If you will. Like, so this is, man, I can't wait to talk about this one because I still have not decided where my swing vote's going, and we should probably get off the air because this guy's wearing an LSU shirt.
Oh my goodness. It is the Gormanator, Drew Gorman, in the house with us, and he is decked out in some LSU garb right now, or garments rather. Got the black LSU hat with a purple bill, and he's also rocking the Joe Burrow jersey. What's going on, Drew?
It's going good.
Welcome back.
Good, man. Well, you're a little timid right now coming on, so we're gonna get you.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
let's have some fun, y'all. Y'all ready to have some fun? Go Tigers. Let's go, baby. Go Tigers. Turn me down.
Let's just try muting him. That might.
Right, like hit the
No,
board.
I-
Okay, just
There we go.
Yeah, only me and you know when he's muted.
That's true. I like it.
So yeah, Drew was just over there on the left coast, checked out a couple of games, went to the Angels-Dodgers game where Ohtani was throwing. I think, what was that, 2-0 Angels winning that game?
Yes.
Or,
2 solos.
2 solos there.
Who hit him?
It was Vargas.
Hold on,
I'm sorry.
Previewing this, and then we're going to dive into
I'll shut up and listen to your story because I'm sure it'll be short.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he also got to go to the Dodgers-Astros game that was in extra innings there and just had a great time. Caught him a foul ball, so we'll talk more about that. But I wanted to start the show off with today. We've got 2 Florida State fans in the house, and this will give Drew time to kind of like put his story in order here. But Florida State, you know, the state of Florida State, all of that good stuff. I really enjoy hearing about this. Let's start with Ian here. Your expectations for Florida State in 2023, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the off the field side of things for the Seminoles as well.
I think it's conference champions or bust this year. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. I think you're going to know a lot about what Florida State is in the LSU game to open things up. And then moving on from there, we'll see what they become. I think after last season, there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't win the conference. I think that needs to happen this year. That's the next step in the evolution of the Mike Norvell era at Florida State. If you're going to pin me down for a record, I will say I'd like 11-1. Obviously, I'd love undefeated.
Who's the lone loss to? Is that a LSU? That can't be Florida or Clemson.
I think if you're going to have an L, LSU is probably your most likely candidate. I don't know that they will face across the board the caliber of competition at every position that they're going to see against LSU the rest of the year, and that obviously includes Clemson. So I think if you're going to get an L, it'll be in there. But this year with the ACC, you win enough games, you're going to play for conference crown because we don't have divisions anymore.
Right.
So I think this is a year. You need to thump it to Clemson. It's time to retake.
When do y'all play Clemson this year? At what point in the season?
September? Early?
I think it's like the 4th game of the season. It's really early this year.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
see, and so you would much rather go 11-1 with that first loss at the beginning of the season, which, I mean, either if you lose to just one of those teams, it's still a very early season loss, and you're still vying for the ACC championship.
Right. I think, if they beat LSU and then steamroll through Clemson at 4-0, now you're talking about Florida State as a completely different animal. Would you agree with that, Kyle?
So here is my take on what I think Florida State needs to do this season. I don't care what happens with the LSU game. I really don't. Obviously, as a Florida State fan, I want to win, but a loss to that game will do nothing for my mental psyche because in a new era of college football, one loss does nothing. LSU owes us one. If they beat us, who cares? As long as they don't blow us out, I don't care if we lose in week 1 to LSU. Losing to Clemson's done. Losing to Clemson has to be a thing of the past. If you want me to believe that Mike Norvell is going to really pull a rebuild of Florida State football, losing to Clemson is a thing of the past. You're going to Clemson. Right. This is when Florida State started to make their statement when they won their last national championship. So LSU, of course, obviously between me and Drew, there's going to be some smack talk, and I want to beat LSU. I want to go undefeated. But that game virtually means nothing to me.
It's so early in the year. You have plenty of time to figure things out afterwards, and that's speaking from my perspective as well.
It's because it didn't matter for LSU last year.
Yeah.
Obviously you lost Florida State, so you got to hear it from FSU fans. I'm going to have to hear it from LSU fans, but it means nothing in the grand scheme of things, especially when you have a 12-team college football playoff the year after this. Yeah. That first game is nothing.
And here's what I would say on the LSU side of that equation. I don't know that you will face an offense like what you're going to see from the Noles in game 1 the rest of the year. That's a bold statement, I know. But with the addition of Keon Coleman now to this wide receiving core, Trey Benson out of the backfield, Rodney Hill, Jordan Travis, a lot of people's dark horse Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
This offense is going to be absolutely loaded. It's on the defensive side of the ball that I just want to see what we are.
What's crazy is that, and I think we should have talked about this. You were in LA when I did this, so the schedule didn't line up. But Florida State and LSU, if you put the two teams on paper, Florida State, in my opinion, is a little bit better. Just like last year, I think they're a little bit better, but they are extremely identical from top to bottom. You've got a scrambling quarterback who can make plays with his arm. You go to the defensive side of the ball, the weakness, which is crazy for two teams probably the two teams that have the battle for DBU.
Right.
The weakness is the secondary for both teams. Corner, safety. See, corner, I think FSU's got the advantage. Safety, LSU. But where FSU has the advantage at corner, LSU's bad at corner.
Yeah.
LSU has the advantage at safety. FSU is bad at safety.
Right.
That game is going to be good, but I think it's going to be more high scoring than last year. But as far as just staying on Florida State, I think the ceiling is undefeated national championship, maybe college football playoff appearance. Who knows what happens there? And the floor's got to be 11-2. If your second loss is going to happen, it's got to happen in the bowl game, or it's got to happen in the conference championship.
Okay,
agreed.
Because the ACC is just taking the top two. It's not divisional.
Yeah, we got no divisions anymore.
Yeah. Which is, I think. The ACC needed that to happen. The SEC is going to be they still have the divisions for one more year here. But I think with the SEC as it stands right now, the East and the West, I'm cool with the top from each. But that's changing in 2024, so it doesn't matter. But I think it was needed for the ACC because it's kind of like the Big Ten, where the guy from one side of the conference, it's Florida State, Clemson versus whoever, and basically how that game's gonna boil down. So
we also, it's never ever going to be Miami, so you can never count on them to do anything.
Go Coral Gables.
Yep, haven't been any. It's been sorry ever since 2002. Were you even born then?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'll tell you what.
De La Cruz, was it?
No, since they've been in the ACC,
nothing. Whole bunch of nothing.
I mean, look at Nebraska going to the Big Ten. How many of these conference changing, landscape changing moves have been made, and it's really benefited the other team? You look at Missouri, they were in the SEC championship game in their first year. Nebraska is just absolutely ruined. Well, I don't want to say absolutely ruined, but they are nothing in the Big Ten compared to what that school was when they were in the Big 12. I mean, I'm trying to think of anyone that's really benefited, and that's why I think the Big 12 is doing good here, because BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston are all four teams that honestly can move into the Big 12 and make noise there. But if they were coming to the SEC, they're not making noise. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm really excited for the Big 12. I think it's going to be a very fun conference here moving forward.
They need to get some folks, because none of the teams that you just mentioned, while some of them may have exciting programs with exciting coaches and players, none of them move the needle nationally. None of them do.
Not yet.
I mean, they have to land. They need a big fish.
But where is the big fish going to come from?
And there is the multi-million-dollar question.
So that's my thing, is you're going to take UCF right here, and I don't know how much Cincinnati, BYU, or Houston were making annually speaking, but UCF is one of the largest campuses in the country, if not the largest, and then you're going to go from $6 million a year to $22 million a year, which is a pretty big jump right there. So I could see that if you finish second in the Big 12, all of a sudden you get to that like an SMU type status. And then let's not forget, Cincinnati just a year ago or 2 years ago was in the college football playoff. So I mean, I think that you're adding at least two, and then BYU is also a pretty big program in the grand scheme of things. So I mean, they're doing better than what the ACC is doing.
But I mean, the ACC's bringing home what?
Financially speaking,
$38 million a year.
Yeah, but look at all the arguments.
They're robbing us. They're robbing us.
While the Big Ten and the SEC's hauling in between 70 and 80 a year.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere, though, Ian.
Well, you can start by dissolving your piece of crap conference and letting the people who actually care about playing big boy football go somewhere where they're actually going to be paid for their time and their clout. And that is not, sir, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Right.
At least the Big 12 is trying. They may be moving chairs on the Titanic, but we'll see in time. I mean, they've got a
sensitive subject right now.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to.
That was you hit a nerve submersible way down the heart.
I did not mention a submersible. I mentioned a ship that sank 100 years ago.
I've never heard it put that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Moving around chairs on the Titanic. That's wow.
So,
all right, I'm gonna add that to my repertoire.
I hate the ACC, and Dave, you and I have beat this drum together on and off air. I think the ACC has no one to blame but themselves for where they currently are with the grant of rights deal, and even still, you've got programs like Wake Forest, BC, Duke, who are never, ever, ever, ever going to commit to football.
Yeah.
All they care about is basketball.
So it means more.
Make you a basketball conference and let those of us who want to play big boy football out.
Yeah,
so
there you go. You can just combine the Big East and the ACC there.
Right. Question then becomes, where do you go?
Exactly.
And to your point about the Big 12, I mean, Florida State, that would be a get for the Big 12, but it doesn't move the needle on what the Big 12 can be. I think, for the Big 12 to be viable, you're looking at Florida State, Clemson, maybe North Carolina, maybe Miami, because they are still a national brand, and then if you could get Notre Dame to join. Now I think you're talking about something with the Big 12.
I know that Notre Dame's got a little. Is that still a thing? The 5 games with the ACC?
Yeah.
Okay, but in all other sports, they are in the ACC. I still think that if Notre Dame is going to become or go to a conference in college football, it needs to be the Big Ten. Not that they need to get any. It's not like they need any brandings. But let's stick here with Florida State. And as Florida State fans, would you rather see them, let's say, they make enough noise this year where they can control their own destiny to an extent, it makes the buyout easier, all that good stuff.
Right.
Would you rather see them in the Big Ten or the Southeastern Conference?
So perfect scenario where you just get to walk, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think there are 2 answers to that. As a fan, I would rather be in the SEC. I want to see, Florida State versus Tennessee. I want to see Florida State versus Georgia. I can go to those games. All right. You saw about Florida State versus Ohio State, or now Florida State versus USC. I ain't going to LA. All right. I just don't. That ain't for me.
That's for Drew.
I think Florida State makes a lot more sense fiscally for the Big Ten, who would want to expand their footprint in terms of television coverage to the East Coast, down into the South, and say, hey, we can now come down to the South and compete with the SEC for viewers because we got teams down there that people care about now. Yep. So I think we're a better get for the Big Ten. As a fan and as an alum, I'd rather be in the SEC.
I'm on the same wavelength. I think the better fit is the SEC, but if you look beyond football, which I know is hard for everybody to do, but if you really look beyond football, Florida State belongs more in the Big Ten, and that goes to academics, that goes to the medical stuff that FSU's been trying to do, and I agree with you on the television ratings. I think that would be a big market for the Big Ten, and regardless of what you feel. And, this is my tinfoil hat theory. I'm a little worried that if there's games close with ACC officials in charge this year, that FSU and Clemson might be kind of in line to get the hose in a couple of those. But I want to hear this guy.
Yeah.
I want to be muted during this for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I love that conversation. I do want to revisit that as well. And again, you guys can give us your text today. No calls because we're out here at Dave & Buster's, but we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Reading your comments on Facebook. And you can also text to 850-215-6290. Oh, Drusif, man, tell me about your trip and a little bit about the games and how cool it was to see Ohtani in his home stadium.
It was a blast being able to see Ohtani just be him in his own environment and to pitch. Like, that was one of the craziest things because I was looking it up before. I was looking up the matchups beforehand, and up until Monday was the first day that it was slated on ESPN that he was the probable starter. And so immediately my eyes got big. I was like, I might get really lucky. Let's go. The game wasn't until Wednesday, so I was like, I'm not going to try not to get too excited, but still. I got a little excited. Well, we get out there. I mean, you get a chance to watch Ohtani pitch. That's a blast. Also in L.A., Anaheim, but in
Orange County,
in a different stadium that I've never been to. Oh, traffic!
Terrible. Don't even bring that up. That was the worst part of the trip.
Yeah. So Ohtani pitched well. He only gave up one home run, and it was to Freddie Freeman in the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people are going to not allow a home run to Freddie Freeman. So
okay, so it was 2-0 Dodgers winning that game then.
Yeah, 2-0 Dodgers. Gotcha. So Ohtani did go 7 innings, and he had 12 Ks. Masterful. Threw 107 pitches. Masterful. Dude was just carving up dudes like it was nothing.
And then last night with the 2 home runs and 10 strikeouts, that's insane.
Well, him at the plate, not so hot.
Yeah.
And he went 0 for 3. And he actually came up in the 9th. The other home run for the Dodgers was for Vargas, like I said, and that was hit in the 9th, in the top of the 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So, but coming into the bottom of the 9th, they had their 1, 2, 3 hitters: Ohtani, Trout, Ohtani, and
Brandon Drury.
Yeah, Drury. They were, and all 3 of them. Ohtani comes up, fly ball. Just a can of corn. Trout actually hit one pretty decently, but it was caught by the left fielder, if I'm not mistaken. And then Drury grounded out. And I was like, okay, that was anticlimactic. You're at the perfect spot in your lineup to at least get someone on and keep it rolling. In your home stadium, it was a sea of blue, though. A sea of blue, dude. In Angel Stadium. And
how was it when the Astros were there for Sunday Night Baseball? We're running up against the break here, though.
That was a blast as well. I was really close, and whenever I got tickets, I made sure to be on the visitor side. So I was with all
the
Astro
jersey?
people. I did not end up bringing it because I didn't anticipate being able to go, and things just kind of fell into place where I was able to go.
So that game actually started around 3 o'clock.
4.
Oh, 4 o'clock.
It was a 4 o'clock first pitch. So, and I was joking with the guy I went with. If the game, it's kind of a mind mess. If the game ended in 2 hours, it would have ended faster. It would have ended before
the actual
start time on the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, well,
which would have been 7.
Oh, okay, yeah, 7 for the East.
So it would have been the exact same time, but it ended up going into extras. And there was a guy who was sitting behind me that was a Yankees fan, and he kept talking. Every time Bregman came up, he was like, "Oh, this guy's a thorn in my side. He's a thorn in my side." I turned around and I told him, I was like, "I'm an LSU fan as well as a Astros fan, so I love him all around." And he just kept going. Anytime the Astros need something good to happen, Bregman seems to be the one to do it. And he was the guy who drove in the winning run as well as made the last out.
You need to get your Bregs jersey if you don't got one.
I do.
Already. Nice. Yeah, LSU product there. But we've got to run to a break. We're going to dive back into that story a little bit if we find some time along the way. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents The Blast at Bay Point. Listen to Win Your Tea Time at the legendary Bay Point Golf Club in beautiful Panama City Beach.
You ready to play some high-low? I'm going to try.
Listen weekdays at 8:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to play high-low for a chance to win 18 holes at Bay Point Golf Club.
I tell you what, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it.
Listen to Win the Blast at Bay Point from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a wind coming out of the west-southwest at 15 miles per hour and 91. Tonight, look for a light breeze and clear skies with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunny. Friday, hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The road is yours this summer in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by and check out the Bill Bird Kia SUV family that is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 3.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort and safety and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance for the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento with $22.22 per month per 1,000 finance at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/23.
You know the break room for the best pool tables in Bay County. But did you know they now serve delicious food? Check out the break room's daily lunch and dinner specials like spaghetti and meatballs, meatloaf with mashed potatoes, air-fried chicken, and more. Plus the best burgers, hot dogs, and you gotta try the Sammy of the day. The break room on Panama City Beach at the corner of Joan Avenue and North Lagoon. For more information, check them out on Facebook.
Chef Ross here. We're open daily at 11 at the break room.
ESPN Northwest Florida is on location at Dave & Buster's.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 the Forgotten Coast of Port St. Joe. Again, I'm David Hayes along with Ian Malone, Kyle Wright, Drew Gorman, the Assistant General Manager of Dave & Buster's here in Pier Park. Amanda Muller is running around somewhere. We'll have her. Hopefully she sticks with us for her segment, essentially, because we play Would You Rather on Wednesdays specifically. In fact, we didn't do it last week, so I played This or That on Thursday. So that was a lot of fun last week, though. We had Gavin Ricca on with us. It was his birthday. He had a lot of fun, so that was pretty cool stuff. All right, it is time for our GOAT of GOAT. We're going to go into the matchups or dive into the round 2 matchups, tell you the winners, the percentages, all of that good stuff, and then get into our Sweet 16 matchups. So let's dive into it, Kyle.
Let's do it.
Let me unmute
microphone is unmuted now.
There you go. All right, I'll let you kind of handle or start us off here in this segment. How about that? Does that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Where would you like me to go here?
I want you to
you got the
announce the
percentages on
matchup.
your phone.
Yeah, and that's actually why
Okay.
I'm kicking it over to you.
I got you.
Because we're gonna handle this matchup
by
first.
matchup.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Heard. Okay, so we had Remember the Titans against Space Jam here in the round of 32. And David's got the results pending.
Oh, well, yeah, that's not the... Well, we're going to dive into that.
What do you want me to do?
I thought we were going to handle the We Are Marshall versus...
Oh, okay, so we're going to do that first. We can do that first.
Nope. We're not going to do that now. We're going to give out what we said
Reveal
we were
the winners.
Gonna do.
Okay.
There we go. Remember the Titans beat Space Jam 61.5% to 38.5%. So a big win there.
I think it's a big win, but I don't know if I stand alone in saying this. We won't dive into every matchup like this, but I think that Space Jam got a little closer than I thought.
I can agree with that. I was thinking somewhere around a 70-30.
Yeah.
Or maybe
80,
even
20.
less than that. What are your thoughts there, Ian? Like, is that close for Remember the Titans and Space Jam?
I mean,
absolutely.
The fact that Space Jam got 30 points, I mean, that's like,
that's what I'm saying.
That's like, I mean, I guess I see Kyle's point. It's like Duke actually managing to score 10 on Georgia.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Way to rise up, little guy. Way to play above your head, sir. Good for you, little guy. So go on Space Jam.
We have the same exact score for our next one, which is Benchwarmers up against A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. And A League of Their Own wins 61.5% to 38.5%. Any thoughts there, or did that go exactly how you expected it to?
That's pretty straight up.
That's pretty much what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. The next one, we've got a 70.3% here against 29.7%, and that is Invincible, taking down Facing the Giants. Not a big surprise here, but a good movie and a good move by Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, absolutely. Great propaganda for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, there you go. The next one's an absolute blowout, not surprising at all. Waterboy takes down the Game Plan by a tune of 94.6%, so not close at all there. Next, we're going to go to one of Ryan Mulvey, the host of the Inside Drive's favorites, and he highly expects it to get to the Final Four. Caddyshack takes down the 1976 Bad News Bears 68.4% to 31.6%. So doubling them up there. Any surprises there, Ian?
No, I don't think so. I think, listen, I'll always have a soft spot for Walter Matthau and Bad News Bears, but I mean, come on, Caddyshack's one of those sports movies that everybody can quote it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those. It's like Major League. It's everybody has their favorite scene. Everybody has their favorite quote. Everybody has their favorite character. It's got freaking Bill Murray in it. I mean, come on, it's Caddyshack.
Yeah.
So no surprises there for me.
Anyone else? No surprises across the board. We'll go to the next one where I don't think you're going to have... I don't know. I'm a little surprised that the comedy didn't take down the drama here, but Coach Carter beats White Men Can't Jump 62.2% to 37.8%.
Definitely a wider margin than I thought it would be. I thought Coach Carter would win. I think we said last week when we made our picks, I thought Coach Carter would win, but never did I think it would be that wide of a margin.
Yeah.
I thought we would be talking about that one today.
Yeah. Anything there from you, Drew? No? Again, to me, it kind of just boils down to comedy going up against a drama, even though Coach Carter's a great one. It seems like, to this point, the comedies have kind of done a little bit better. We'll move on to the next matchup, which is Field of Dreams versus Moneyball.
This was a surprise to me.
This is a surprise that it's not one that we had to vote here on the show.
Thought we would be talking about this one too.
And we're only 2% off because our criteria is 55 to 45%. This is a 57.9% up against 42.1% in the favor of Moneyball.
That's a load of crap.
It's wild to
Ian's
me.
like,
I'm out of here. I'm going across the street.
This election was rigged.
This election was rigged.
I am not a fan.
Let's go storm the Capitol.
All of these votes came in overnight, man. So.
Right. We'll get storm the ESPN Northwest Florida studios.
Y'all are going to have Randy calling me in the middle of this segment. Lay off the politics, man. Like, we're just joking.
Right. I'm just telling you, we're storming Cooperstown.
We're storming Cooperstown. There you go. Storming the Grand. We're right next to it.
Yep.
And we got the new the new theater popping up in town now.
I can't
in the old
wait.
Regency place.
I'm jazzed for that.
Yeah.
Me too.
It looks insane, doesn't it? When you drive past it, it's like, man, it's like you remember when the Grand was being built out here and there was just so much, but it was like the only daggone thing out here, bro.
Yep.
Pier Park before Pier Park was just so absolutely wild. To the next matchup here, Major League 2 going up against Sandlot, and Sandlot took them to the parking lot.
Sure.
87.2% to 12.8%, which is another one of those things. Like Major League, as Ian will tell you, is one of the best movies of all time. Major League 2 is good, and then Major League 3 is kind of like a big drop off from the other two movies. So surprised that they even made it in a sense, but also we had to fill out 64 there. We'll go to the next matchup, and that is going to be Happy Gilmore going up against the 2005 Longest Yard. And Adam Sandler beats Adam Sandler 76.9% to 23.1%. Happy Gilmore moving on to the Sweet 16. Can I get an amen?
Amen. So let me ask you guys, do you think the Longest Yard 2005 here, this is obviously Adam Sandler's remake, like Dave said, almost any other matchup here may have had a chance to advance?
Depends on what it was matched up against.
Remember the Titans maybe has a chance?
That is what the word. That's what the word almost means. Ian.
Remember the Titans blows that one out of the water. That was another remake
yeah.
I didn't need, man.
But
Longest Yard.
To answer your question, yes.
Oh, you're talking about the Longest Yard. Oh,
I'm saying, like any other matchup, it may have had
1976 Bad News Bears. I think that if it was going up against that one, I think if it was going up against, I think Ali, its downfall is that it's just so kind of. It was like if we were to put Air on this list, because it's so fresh. Not too many people have had an opportunity to actually watch it and enjoy it. And then when you're talking about GOAT of GOATs, whether it's the way that Caveman wants to put it, good only as trailer movies or greatest of all time, when it comes to that, a lot of people are going to take the movies that they hold near and dear to their heart, and I don't think Ali has been around long enough for it to be near and dear to their heart when compared to other movies. So yeah, Sandlot just absolutely blew them out of the water. Let's see, next we've got Gridiron Gang going up against Ali, and Gridiron Gang beats Ali 71.1% to 28.9%. So about as expected there, right?
Right.
we'll go on to Cool Runnings, and this will be the end for Cool Runnings because they are up against Major League. And Wild Thing comes out on top, 77.8% to 22.2%. Again, text us at 850-215-6290 and let us know your thoughts here.
Yeah, and send us your bracket.
Yeah, send us your bracket. All of that good stuff.
The heater.
There you go. And then also, we're still doing our thing here, whereas if you come to Dave & Buster's and you find us, the first person, first come, first serve, first person to come find us where we're at here in Dave & Buster's is going to win a $10 Power Play card, which is essentially worth $20 here on Wednesday afternoons. Oh, and guess what? Happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m., so get your drinks half price as well.
I am happy.
They are tasty beverages.
Hey, no doubt about
Many
it.
tasty beverages to choose from at Dave & Buster's.
Absolutely. Oh, and we'll save that for the next segment, but we've got to give a little plug to the app of the day, if you will, here. Our first-time appetizer.
Yeah. So that
Drew,
one was a runaway today.
Yeah,
was a
no
bit
doubt.
of a runaway.
No doubt. Dodgeball takes down 42. I'm a little surprised about this one as well. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer just because of the classic that 42 is, but Dodgeball, again, comedy comes out on top. Dodgeball beats 42, 60.5% to 39.5%. And right in the microphone, Kyle just he's playing Pokemon Go over here. He just took a Pikachu to the face.
He did ask for it, so.
I did.
Pika.
That was the way I was dressed.
The way that you're dressed got you a Pokemon?
No. Let's continue.
All right, we'll move on to the next matchup. Talladega Nights beats Air Bud 86.8% to 13.2%. 86% to 13.2%. Talladega Nights just
We thought that would happen. We called that one.
Yeah, we did, but I didn't think it was going to be 90 to 10 essentially here.
What about Air Bud inspired you to that end?
I bought a golden retriever after the movie, and you don't know my life.
I was thinking more of like a 75-25 here. I thought
Right,
Air
because the
Bud.
sentimental.
Yeah,
Talking about
don't get me
about
wrong.
movies that are near and dear to your heart, like Air
Because I
Bud.
say, like,
that
people
was
It is,
Air
but
Bud.
Talladega Nights is way better. It's not even close. But
Don't you put that evil on me, David Hayes.
who'd you vote for?
I voted for Talladega Nights.
I did too, even though I love Air Bud, but it's like one of those movies that started me getting used to sports movies. in
I
general.
love that little move, man. I just had to take the
Just had to go back.
We got two radios going, guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
Multitasking.
Do you like Thursdays or Wednesdays better?
Thursdays are.
Oh, you for ESPN?
Yeah, well,
Thursdays.
duh.
Okay. Well, that hurts my feelings a little bit. That's
Well, I mean, I like Wednesday's crew, but
You don't-
Thursdays are in the studio, and like I'm not having people in my ear.
She just likes Thursdays because she can leave early.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I did it till midnight after
I was
this.
by myself and she left me last week. I'm like,
You had Gavin.
yeah, Gavin did a great job too last Thursday. He did. We are Marshall, so this is the perfect timing because I
Right.
need you here at 5. I don't need you here at 5 o'clock, but it's your would you rather segment. But this is our voting time. We Are Marshall leads Karate Kid 52.6% to 47.4%, which means, and the beauty of it, ladies and gentlemen, is we have 5 people on the panel with us today, which means this will not end in a tie, and I will start it off with my vote. As not the biggest fan of Cobra Kai in this building, I'm going with We Are Marshall.
Okay. All right.
wow.
I feel like everyone else is voting for Karate Kid, so I had to give We Are Marshall some love. Joseph.
To me, Karate Kid's a great movie, and there have been so much that has built upon that empire. But being based on a true story and the lines behind it and how it played out, and just it being a kid whenever it came out, it moved me. And I'm going to go with We Are Marshall.
Wow.
We Are
This is
Marshall.
gonna come down to-
So,
This is gonna come down.
Mr. Miyagi would disagree with you, obviously. There's not a single guy, I'm going to say guy in general, and like tomboys like me growing up, that didn't help wash their car saying wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
Okay. Karate Kid.
Ian.
So yeah, to me this comes down to a really heartwarming story, heartbreaking but heartwarming story versus Legacy. legacy of what Karate Kid is. There's a reason why when they started hitting all those nostalgia notes in season 1 of Cobra Kai, it worked with kids who are 15 and 16 years old today. You know, the trip back to the arcade, the golf and stuff and all that, with the same music and all that, the tournament at the end, replaying all of that. There's a reason why it stuck. It's because what happened in that film and in that story still resonates. So for that reason, I will go with Karate Kid, but We Are Marshall is a wonderful film. And if you've never seen it, watch it for what it is. It's McConaughey at its best. Matthew Fox was really, really good in that one. Ian McShane was really, really good in that one. And it is a true story, folks. So We Are Marshall's a great film, but for the purposes of the tournament, I doff the cap to a job well done to We Are Marshall, and I move on with Karate Kid.
I bet Kyle's like, why didn't you finish this off and let me go next?
Dude, because I'm the swing vote here, so I'm 2-2. Because I will tell you, like, out of all these movies,
I almost want to just leave the voting up for like the rest of the show and just take live votes that we get on Facebook and via text message. And just for giggles and whatnot, I would still like to do that. We're going to leave it done here, and we're going to announce the new matchups in the next segment and all of that good stuff. But just for curiosity, because curiosity does kill cats, 850-215-6290. Shoot us a text on We Are Marshall or Karate Kid. I would love to know what the listeners think. But now, on to the swing votes here. Are you going blue or red here?
Yeah, see, this is crazy because We Are Marshall is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Ever.
It's so, like, the story of it is beautiful. I cried during the movie. Like, it's a true story. Just everything that went on with that whole, everything, like you said, everything Ian said times 2. However, if you look at the empire that was built off such a simple concept, then we have no choice but to sweep the leg and put Karate Kid into the Sweet 16. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it essentially. Karate Kid's going to be moving on against We Are Marshall, but I'm still interested in you guys' thoughts. 850-215-6290. Go ahead and shoot us a text. We Are Marshall or Karate Kid. Same way via Facebook. Just leave a comment there. We'll read it off. And also, if you got a kid, you're just riding around on the beach side or anywhere here, and you're hearing us right now, then come find us at Dave & Buster's. We'll hook you up with a $10 Power Play card from Dave & Buster's, according to the assistant GM, Amanda Muller, right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to be right back. Y'all stick with us.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
One thing that bothers me with time wasting is these guys will throw X amount of pitches in the bullpen. I understand if you got a guy up late, but generally speaking, those guys have been warming up. And then they bring them out there and they throw way too many warm-ups.
Yeah, what's it, like 8 to 10?
Something like that. It just takes too long.
I think
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Sunny the remainder of the day with a wind coming out of the west-southwest at 15 miles per hour and 91. Tonight, look for a light breeze and clear skies with a temperature near 80. Tomorrow, a high around 92 and mostly sunny. Friday, hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Young Cycle across from FedEx Mosley Drive in Lynn Haven has a fantastic selection of pre-owned Harleys at great prices. Great prices. Don't buy a Harley until you stop by Young Cycle. Young Cycle, a full service department is available too, offering motor trike conversions, parts, and accessories. Nothing compares to Harley Davidson and the low prices on pre-owned Harleys at Young Cycle. Young Cycle, 112 Mosley Drive across from FedEx in Lynn Haven.
The road is yours this summer in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Stop by and check out the Bill Bird Kia SUV family that is built for all in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with with grace and grit. Now offering 3.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort and safety and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind that you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance for the purchase of a new 2023 Kia Sorento with $22.22 per month per $1,000 finance at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/5/23.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Now, this is your, well, normally we do our Braves update and our baseball update and trivia and all of that good stuff, but we don't do trivia anyways on Wednesdays, and we didn't even get to the matchups for the Sweet 16. So I kind of want to look at those and break those down. So Kyle, whenever you're ready, just point a finger at me so we can move on to that direction. The Braves did beat the Twins today 3-0, and I'm really excited to hear what Ryan and I feel like I just like kind of combined a name for you guys, what Ian and Kyle have to say about the Cincinnati Reds today after a great series, honestly, with the Atlanta Braves. I feel like I came away from that series learning more about the Cincinnati Reds than what I did about the Atlanta Braves. So going to be fun, but let's kind of breeze through these matchups real quick, and let's start with the top one, who is, remember, the Titans going to be taking on in the Sweet 16.
This sets up are we going to do what we usually do? Who you voting for? Who you pick? Okay, who do you think wins?
Yeah.
So we can run through them quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is going to set up a Sweet 16 matchup between Remember the Titans and a League of Their Own.
Oh.
I will vote for Remember the Titans, and I think they move on, but I don't think that's a knock at a League of Their Own at all.
Remember the Titans is my favorite movie of all time. They will get my vote.
Yeah.
Of all time? Wow.
Of all time.
Who's
Remember
next?
the Titans gets my vote. They will move on, but League of Their Own will get a few random votes.
Sound like you just went to Germany or something. My vote.
There we get my vote.
Do your
That's the double dots.
Yeah,
The
right
umlaut,
there.
yeah.
That umlaut. There you go. What do you got, Ian?
Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. That's a clean sweep here. So if you were to guess their percentages, I'm going to say I think a League of Their Own is going to get a little bit of love.
It's going to get the Airbud amount of love.
I'm going to say 70-30.
I'm still going 90-10.
90-10?
Everybody got Space Jam had a lot more than I thought they would, so I'm going to say this is going to be a shocking in the 65-35 range.
Jam had Michael Jordan.
I think 70-30 sounds about right.
70-30?
80-20.
Next matchup, Kyle, please.
Let's go to Invincible, starring Mark Wahlberg, about the Philadelphia Eagles that nobody cares about, and Waterboy.
Oh, this is tough.
This is tough-ish. I go Waterboy in a landslide.
I agree with tough-ish. Waterboy.
Funny movie wins. Waterboy.
Yeah, I'm going Waterboy, and everybody loves the Philadelphia Eagles.
Why is nobody giving me love?
All right.
That's my Wahlberg.
That's your Wahlberg.
That was it? That was Boston?
I mean, that was Boston. I don't understand.
Sounds like an Irishman.
I don't understand. I can't. I got no Wahlberg. Where's my teddy bear? I don't know.
That was your best one. Was the teddy bear there?
It's Flash freaking Gordon.
All right. So who is it? It's Waterboy versus Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Waterboy
That's the end of the
easy.
line for Vince Papale.
Again, 80-20, right there at best.
At best.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. What's our third matchup?
We have got Caddyshack versus Coach Carter.
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
I think Caddyshack gets it 60-40 here.
Yep.
I'm gonna vote for Coach Carter.
Okay. I'm voting for
You're
Caddyshack.
part of the 40. It's okay.
That's fine. I'll be part of the 40. I will gladly be part of the minority. And I'm gonna think that I do think Caddyshack wins. I think we're talking about it next week, though.
Oh, yeah? Oh, so you think it's a 55-45?
I think it's close.
I will join you on the Coach Carter bus, and I I don't think I think it will be 60-40 though.
Well, you're gonna have to find a new bus to get here next week because you won't be here. No, I'm just kidding. Ian, what you thinking?
70-30 on this one.
70-30. Moving on to the fourth matchup then.
Yep, we're on there, and it's Moneyball versus Sandlot. And I smell an upset brewing here.
Who would the upset be? So, like, if you were to put odds on this, I think, man, it's so tough. I think
David and I
Sandlot.
love Moneyball more than anybody else in this room.
Because Ian doesn't like Moneyball that much.
I didn't either.
I thought Moneyball was fine. I just didn't. Maybe it makes the tournament. It gets bounced in round one. That's all I'm saying. It was worthy to make the tournament. Just bounced in round one was.
But
all
Sweet 16 is crazy.
Yeah,
and
that's a heck of a run for Moneyball to make Sweet 16.
However, in our baseball-loving town,
yes,
this story that is based on real events about a team that has a lot of media talk about them right now.
Fair.
I think that I'm going to vote Sandlot, and I think Sandlot wins, but I think we're going to be shocked. And I would almost say, since this thing is kind of not really producing a lot of upsets, I'm going to make my case in my time here to say, if Moneyball makes this a 55-45, we don't talk about it. I want Moneyball moving on.
You're killing me, Smalls.
If Moneyball, so if it's Sandlot 55 and Moneyball 45,
I think we give Moneyball
Moneyball just gets a 10% out of nowhere. We don't even vote on it. Just boom, here you go.
Overnight.
I'm just saying that it's an upset, and to even get that close for it to even be here.
Okay,
but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll figure out that next week.
Boring.
You talk about Moneyball.
Moneyball,
right?
boring.
See, my thing is Sandlot holds the nostalgia thing, whereas especially when at the time when Sandlot came out, how old most of us were and all that good stuff. But then with Moneyball, I feel like, man, it took on baseball, or baseball took it on in a sense. And you got Jonah Hill. I think I would vote for Sandlot, but I want Moneyball to win.
Listen, I mean, for those of us who are true sports geeks and love to follow things like the evolution of a sport, all right, something like Moneyball really speaks to you. And I take nothing away from it. Listen, I thought Moneyball was a great film. Brad Pitt was great. Star-Lord, before anybody knew who he was in it.
Right?
That was cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
he was
first baseman,
yeah.
So did he play?
Moneyball was cool. The first baseman.
Yeah, I
forget his name in the movie.
Giambi?
No, he didn't. No, it was.
Because I was right at. Yeah.
Who did Chris Pratt play in Moneyball?
There you go. Sandlot.
Scott Hatteberg.
Man, Sandlot was. You talk about a sports movie that's quotable, that everybody knows. I mean, quick backstory on yours truly. The first night I met my wife, we met in a pub in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and movies, that sort of stuff, fake common interest things, happen in a conversation. And I just happened to drop that line, "You're killing me, Smalls," when she said something to me, and her eyes lit up like this, because that is one of her favorite films of all time. And to this day, I sign notes to her, love you, Smalls. Refer to her as Smalls. People around conventions and conferences that know us will call her Smalls from across the room. And it all started from that moment for that movie. So Sandlot and a slam dunk for this one.
Ooh, so I'm gonna say 55-45 and not give a go ahead. I'm taking away from my man.
There's people out here that, like me, understand The Sandlot is a great movie. It was a great childhood thing. But if you have to tell me, hey, you have to watch one of these movies on Friday night and Saturday night, you are not making me watch The Sandlot 2 nights in a row. I'm watching Moneyball.
Wow.
I'm voting for Moneyball, and I hope it moves on. Give me the votes.
There you go.
Somewhere someone thought Eric Stoltz would be a better Marty McFly. But, who am I to say?
All right, what's our next matchup here?
We have got Happy Gilmore versus the Gridiron Gang.
Happy Gilmore 100-0.
Yeah.
I'm kind of right there with you.
90-10.
90-10.
I love Gridiron Gang, but against Happy Gilmore, that's no question.
Happy Gilmore. What if it's Happy Gilmore versus Caddyshack? I don't think it can happen the way that the bracket is. I know, but I'm just saying, what if that was like a golf movie?
It's just comedic sports gold.
Yeah.
That was Adam Sandler at his best.
Bob Barker at his best.
Price is wrong, Bob.
I would love to say it's the Reading Rainbow guy at his best, but again, we disproved that. Yeah, I know you guys y'all have corrected me plenty of times on this show. All right, next matchup.
We've got Major League versus Dodgeball. Oh, this is where things are going to get tough for me.
Comedy versus comedy. Baseball versus dodgeball. I think it's going to be a real tragedy if Major League doesn't move on here. I could see this one being 55-45, but I'm going to say that it's going to be 65-35 Major League.
I think Major League moves on, but I also think we're talking on it next week.
Okay.
I definitely think we're talking on it next week, and I think dodgeball moves on.
Ooh. I'm with Amanda, my best friend here.
Besties.
Even though you're not wearing pink?
Well, you don't see my underwear pink.
He did the Reds thing for you. Like, he wore that for you. Let's be real.
Yeah.
What you got, Ian?
The guy sitting here wearing the Ricky Vaughn jersey says Major League will move on and pretty handily.
There we go, man. And that is a sharp jersey.
It is.
That is really nice, by the way.
It's
a Guardians jersey, right?
No. This would be the
Cleveland Other Namers.
The Other Namers.
The Other Namers.
Also known as the Indians. What do you got next?
We have got Talladega Nights versus Karate Kid.
I'm going Talladega Nights here. I think Karate Kid wins, but I'm going Talladega Nights.
Karate Kid barely squeaks in here. This is where the road ends. Take on Talladega Nights.
Yeah,
I
got Talladega Nights.
Karate Kid moves on 60-40.
60-40.
Yep. Talladega Nights was not a great film. It had a lot of great drops and a lot of great sounders. Last 30 minutes of Talladega Nights was very forgettable, dude. Just saying.
I think,
Beyond
honestly,
Baby Jesus,
it makes me want to go back and watch it because now that I'm thinking about it, it's like the only things that I remember are kind of right out of the gate.
It's a 2.5-hour movie with Will Ferrell. No movie with Will Ferrell should be
over an hour and a half, honestly.
It's done in 90 minutes. That's all you get.
That's going to do it for the Sweet 16. Those are all the matchups, right?
No, we got, sorry. We have Rocky versus the Mighty Ducks.
Okay. This is the final one here.
I don't like this.
Mighty Ducks, easy money.
I would love to pick Mighty Ducks, but we're not just talking about Rocky 1. We're talking about all the Rockies rolled up together, so it's Rocky.
It's the Rocky franchise.
It's the Rocky franchise, and that's to me is where it is what it is, man. Like the Rocky franchise, you want to talk about what Amanda said earlier or whatever, like you got to watch these movies on Friday and Saturday night. Well, I'd rather try to watch the Rocky franchise. I don't know. It's
going to take you Friday and Saturday night to do it.
And Sunday night.
I'm voting for the Mighty Ducks. I think Rocky does move on, but I'm voting Mighty Ducks.
All right.
Rocky, all the way, man.
The Flying V, Mighty Ducks.
There you go. And that'll be our final one. All right, Cincinnati Reds. Ian, Kyle, y'all dive into the Cincinnati Reds and tell me what you've been seeing from your guys to this point and what is, I don't need floor or ceiling, any of that good stuff. Do they make a run into the play? Do they make the playoffs this year?
No. And the reason I say, you said you were coming up with a name for us joint earlier, and I think, if we're doing Kyle and Ian, we say Cayenne, since we're talking about the Reds and we're talking red hot, right? So let's talk. But it's coming to an end. It's not the Reds' fault. It's not the players on the Reds' fault. It's the pitching staff. You're talking the 27th ranked pitching group in Major League Baseball right now. You're talking a team that had the number one bullpen in the National League 2 weeks ago, and now they're all the way down at 16 because the bullpen is being overworked. Yeah. They're exhausted. They're starting pitching. Not only are they getting hit, they're getting hit hard. I saw a stat the other day that was really alarming that said the Royals have only hit five balls with an exit velocity of 100 miles an hour in a series 3 times this year. Right. They hit Brandon Williamson for 6 over 100 miles an hour in one game. Right. We've got Williamson. You've got Luke Weaver, who product of Florida State. Hey, all love to you. You left Florida State. I don't care about you anymore. I can't wait till he's out of the rotation. I can't wait until he's DFA'd or maybe even pitching back in Louisville because he'll clear waivers because he's garbage. Green and Lodolo both out. Looks like Lodolo early August at the best. Green mid-August at the best. Andrew Abbott pitching out of his mind, but that's only one possible win every 5 days. Levi Stout, garbage. Trying to think of the other pitchers here. Ben Lively, IL. Graham Ashcraft has been hot doo-doo this year. I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but I said it, and if I'm not, I apologize.
That's all right. If you can, I'll take you to the shed.
Lock me in the shed. It was fun. It was a fun 2 weeks. Wish you would have been here last week. Was riding the high of sweeping the Astros in Houston. 6-0 against teams from Texas this year. We'll do a little fist bump on that if you don't mind.
There you go.
Unfortunately, I think it's over. I think they'll win some games. I do think they'll end up with about 75 to 80 wins, but the pitching, but they may be out of it by the time the pitchers come back.
All right, so we're gonna take a break
Sorry,
here.
Ian,
Get to hour number.
time.
No, it's okay because we are gonna lead off hour number 2 with Ian's thoughts on the Cincinnati Reds, and maybe get back to Drew's story and then play some Would You Rather for a very long time. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Come to Dave & Buster's and find us and win yourself a $10 Power Play card out here at Dave & Buster's. We're gonna take a quick time out, pay some bills. We're gonna be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The tradition continues.
That ball is going to be out of here.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Bombs away.
The Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
Head first slide, 2 RBI triple.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the thunder.
Sponsored by Bestway Portable Buildings, Dave & Buster's, PCB Hobby, and Gulf Coast Aquarium.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a wind around 1 mile per hour out of the west-northwest and a low of 80. Tomorrow morning, look for a calm wind and sunshine with a temperature near 92. In the afternoon and evening, a high around 92 and sunny. Friday hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. John.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes, along with Ian Malone, Kyle Wright, Drew Gorman, and the Assistant General Manager of Dave & Buster's, Amanda Muller. And we also have Tyler over there just laying down on 3 different chairs, lazy as can be. What's up with that, man? Make your brother do some work in here.
I'm sitting out, man. Dude, you could be out there scouting the Guardians of the Galaxy game for me.
Yeah, making sure he can win his 600 tickets. Ian, we left off in that previous segment talking a little bit about those Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on this point of the season, the expectations moving forward, and if you guys are going to make the playoffs.
I agree with everything Kyle just said. I think if the Reds have all the bullets in the gun with Lodolo and with Green, then I think we have something to really talk about. Even then, I don't know that they have what it takes to go much further than maybe the wild card round. But even still, if you had gone back to spring training and told me, hey, the Reds are going to be in first place in the division in July, I would have called you insane. I would have said you're off your nut. So listen, as a Reds fan, haven't had a whole lot to cheer about for quite a while. We spend a lot of time very, very, very angry at ownership, angry at management. All right. And so to have a stretch here where we actually get to enjoy our team and cheer for them, rightfully so, that's been a lot of fun. Yeah. Expectations for what can be down the stretch, I don't look for much. I think 80 wins is a nice way to go. I would have taken that back in April, and so I'll take it now. The pitching will be their downfall. Yeah. To Kyle's point, and I think that'll be what'll wrap this up. Now, the fly in this ointment is, I read an interview with Reds GM Nick Kroll, I guess about a week or two ago, and he said he's going to buy it at the trade deadline. So, that needs to happen pretty quick. If you're going to get somebody worth of crap. Yeah. We'll see if they put up or if they shut up. Yep. That's when you get back to ownership. I don't trust this ownership and this management group any further than I can throw them to make good decisions.
I know our Cincinnati Reds fan base in this area is not huge, but I know there are a lot of people in this area that do root for the Reds. So staying on them for this long, I understand, is kind of crazy. But I do want to say, we've got a good friend that's part of this show that I get into these arguments with all the time. I said it on the way here to you guys that I think my least favorite thing that's being thrown around right now is they're a year ahead of schedule. They're going to stick to the plan. When you get ahead of schedule, you don't you don't sit back and say,
the gas.
Well, hey, here we go. We're a year ahead of schedule. It's fine. This is a surprise to us, so we're going to let it be a surprise. You don't sit back and do that. When you get ahead of schedule, and this goes from baseball, this goes to your work life, your personal life, your finances. You get ahead, you stay ahead. You do what you can to stay ahead. Who cares about these guys that are going to be this guy's a top 5 shortstop in 2029? Right. Who cares? Right. Because this team has a real shot. The National League is the Atlanta Braves and then a bunch of nobodies. So if the Atlanta Braves can be held in the ballpark, 70% of their runs have come on home runs this season. You keep them in the ballpark, you got a shot to beat them.
Yep.
If you could knock down the Braves, the National League is wide open.
Yep. Well, again, if there's an ownership group that knows how to let off the gas, it's this one. And so that's why I enjoy every Reds win for what it is. Yep. I hope for the best.
Expect the worst.
But I need a bit more time before I will put a whole lot of faith into what this team can or cannot be. Yep. I think they're on the right path. Yep. Just don't steer the ship into the side of the mountain.
I agree.
I think you guys are smart fans.
We're realists. Thank you. Nothing else, man. We are realistic.
No, it's all good stuff, and I've honestly been excited for. It's not often that you see a team. Maybe you make the case for the Orioles, the Braves back in maybe 2018, 2017, 18, or 19 or so, that they bring up that many prospects in the same year, and they all kind of are clicking and working out for the most part. Obviously, you could talk about Graham Ashcraft, but when he his first start or his first 2 starts, there was a lot. First 6 start, okay, then there was a lot of excitement about him, and then that all kind of dwindled down and stuff. And it's so hard. I mean, we were talking about that earlier today on the Inside Drive. How often do these highly touted pitchers from collegiate baseball come in and just work out within the first 3 years? Kumar Rocker still waiting on that. Jack Leiter still waiting on that. Paul Skeens is going to be one of the next ones, but no one. That's why Dylan Cruz is a lot more of a more safe pick than what Paul Skeens is, or even what's the kid from Florida, Hurston?
Wyatt Langford.
Well, yeah, Wyatt Langford, but he's a position player, right?
The center field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying compared to the pitchers there. So very interesting stuff. I wanted to play this little quarterback tournament. I saw this on Twitter from Mr. Fantasy Football, and he had it's basically another little bracket type deal. We're not going to do any voting or anything, but kind of our own brackets, if you will. So the first matchup is going to be Kyler Murray versus Kenny Pickett. Kyler Murray versus Kenny Pickett.
How do you not put Lamar Jackson in this?
No, Lamar is in this.
How do you not put Joe Burrow in there?
Joe Burrow.
No, sorry, I'm just doing what people did to our bracket. Is where I'm really trying to go here.
Well, Pat Mahomes isn't in this. But Kyler Murray or Kenny Pickett. I didn't come up with these matchups. It is what it is, but I like the way that the guy did it because it's a little bit of a fun quarterback tournament.
Are we talking fantasy-wise, or are we talking just strictly football-wise?
Just the quarterback that you would rather have. You can use fantasy if you want to. You can use on-field. I don't care what you use.
I think ability, we say it time and time again, ability is the best availability is the best ability. Mm-hmm. And Kenny Pickett has been much more available. I know he's only played 1 year, but I think that he's got a better shot going forward, so I'll take Kenny Pickett here.
How many concussions did Pickett have this last year? He had 2, but then Kyler had the ACL.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And Call of Duty's release was last year as well.
I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett as well, only because I don't really know what his upside is just yet. Like I said, we've only had him for a year, so I think we still have time to figure out what he can or can't be. I feel like we kind of know what Kyler Murray is.
I like that. The kind of what if type deal.
Yeah.
When you were explaining it, you were saying talking about how it was your quarterback that you would rather have on the field. Well, it reminds me of a off the field incident that happened for Kyler Murray. He's not. He is always playing Call of Duty. So I'm going to take Kenny Pickett. He actually seems, and I'm taking to heart what D-Hop said about Kyler Murray. What he's looking for in his next quarterback is a quarterback who genuinely cares about being a good quarterback.
Wow. I didn't know he said that.
And that, I was going to go with Kyler because I think that, honestly, there's more upside, even though we know what we're getting out of Kyler Murray. But I don't, like Kenny Pickett, it's interesting. But, the concussions, we've already kind of seen this work out with Tua and everything. And it's like once you start, especially early on in your career, you're starting with dealing with concussions and stuff like that. But, man, when you got a guy like DeAndre Hopkins calling you out, I think I would go with Kenny Pickett as well. And I'm going to bounce back on that. And I'm going back to Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray is going to be...
What a lot of nothing to say.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be different. So Kyler Murray, and they're going to go up against the winner of your next one here, which is going to be Lamar or Anthony Richardson. I'm going Lamar Jackson here, and talk about best availability is availability, but I don't know what we're going to see from Anthony Richardson. You could talk about all the upside, all the physical acumen that he's got, that great stuff. I don't care. Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to be, when it's all said and done, he's going to be talked about. Anthony Richardson's going to be talked about like Jamarcus Russell is.
That's a great comp with Jamarcus Russell. I was just about to say that. I don't want anything to do with either one of these guys.
Yeah.
Not to take anything. Listen, Anthony Richardson. Listen, maybe I'll prove to be wrong. All right, maybe it works out and he turns out to be okay. Don't know. I would not put my eggs in that particular basket. But it is neither here nor there. I just don't want Lamar because I think he's used up availability. To your point there, and then he's just a head case.
Yeah,
he's a locker room cancer, and I don't want anything to do with him. So I don't want either one of these guys on my team.
I'm gonna go ahead and be an egg keeper, and I'm gonna take the eggs from his basket and take Anthony Richardson. I think he's a better thrower than Lamar is. I think.
Did you watch any of Florida's games?
I think he is a better thrower. I think he's more dynamic throwing the ball than what Lamar is, and I'm gonna take like you said, to your point, best availability, best. Ability
I didn't
is
stutter like
availability.
that. So if you're going to prove my point, then please stay on track.
I'm going with Anthony Richardson.
No, I'm not on the Anthony Richardson bandwagon. I think he's probably the most athletic prospect we've had come out of college in a long time, but athleticism does not do anything unless you can throw the football, which Anthony Richardson cannot do. He's terrible at it. I don't think Lamar Jackson is a top 10 quarterback in the league, but I think Lamar Jackson has proven a lot more to this point, and I will take Lamar.
All right, then. So, and you took, Ian, you took Kenny Pickett and Anthony Richardson, right?
I took Kenny Pickett. I don't want.
I know you don't want either one of them, but for the sake of the tournament, I'm making you.
If you're going to make me take one, I'll take Lamar because at least he's got a track record that at one point he didn't stink.
All right, there we go. There we go. We'll go to the next matchup on the same side of the bracket here: Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young. Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young. We've seen a lot from Baker Mayfield, not a lot of good things. We have no idea what you're going to get from Bryce. I'm going with Bryce Young as a Alabama fanatic.
I will take Bryce. I mean, I saw what he did against my LSU Tigers. I saw what he did to all of college football. It was very hard to catch him by surprise.
Yeah.
And I think with Frank Reich being his new head coach, is going to do wonders for him as well. And then on top of that, on the other side, you've got Baker, who kind of flamed out. And he's just getting chances because he was a number one overall pick. There's a reason he was a number one overall pick, but that was left at Oklahoma.
I kind of did this internally with Lamar versus Anthony Richardson, and I'm going to do this internally as well. I'm going to go with who was the better college quarterback, since we don't know much about Bryce Young in the NFL, and I'm going to take Baker Mayfield here. I think Baker was the better college quarterback, and I'm just...
No, that's fair.
I think he was...
hardware.
So he didn't have the. If he would have had that, if he played at Alabama, he would have.
So true.
He would have won back-to-back Heismans.
It could be.
So,
you know how it goes with trying to win back-to-back Heismans, though, and only one of those guys.
But he would have
got that done. But I think that's a very fair, especially a very fair assessment of how to look at it and just go to the collegiate level. And he was lights out there at Oklahoma. What about for you, Ian?
I'm going to go with Bryce Young just for what he could be. I don't know what he is or what he isn't, but we have no way to know that. We know exactly what Baker is. I'm a Bucs fan. I want no part of Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. As far as I'm concerned, the Bucs are on the clock for the first overall pick in 2024.
Who of the two, though, Baker, Kyle Trask, which one do you want to see? I think Baker's going to get the job, I think, to start off. But I think that come week 6 or so, the Bucs are going to be trying to do anything they can just to change it up or maybe go very aggressively for that first overall pick. I think you see a lot of Kyle Trask
I don't see anybody in the Bucs media that has anything nice to say about Kyle Trask. Like, everything I hear about him is that the guy's pretty much awful in every practice that they have down there.
Yikes.
And there's a reason why he has not seen the field in the 2 years or whatever. I hated that draft pick, by the way. I was like, seriously, Tampa, you got Tom Brady here. Whoever you draft to be your heir apparent gets to sit behind that guy for 2 years and learn, and you went with Trask? With the first pick in the second round? What are you doing?
Trask, who was mid in college with Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, but his final year, though, he was on fire.
That was in the COVID year, though, when nobody played.
But he was still not that good that year.
Nobody played defense that year. It was a COVID year.
I think that's the more of an overwhelming factor. But even Kyle Pitts, with all the yards he's put out, what's he done? You know what I mean? To have the elevated hype around him, like, that's why like Brock Bowers is coming out this next year, and he's probably going to go top 5. And man, I don't know if there's another guy that's more deserving of that because he can do it all. Like, if you look side by side, Kyle Pitts' numbers and Brock Bowers' numbers, Brock Bowers is blowing him away. My issue is I just don't know if tight end, which, there's just not that many of them that are they are game changers. But we went from Tony Gonzalez to now Travis Kelce kind of being the front runner. Rob Gronkowski had a great, but to hit on a tight end, I don't know if it's really worth it to take him in the top 5. Brock Bowers could prove that to be wrong.
Keep an eye on Jaheim Bell at Florida State this year.
Okay.
To me, it just comes for the tight ends to be successful. It's got to be from coaching.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the Falcons seem like they have no care in the world to get the ball to Kyle Pitts. And I know that's a touchy subject for Amanda from fantasy last year, but they just have no desire to get him the ball. And a lot of NFL schemes right now are get the ball to the perimeter. You're not throwing the ball up the seam.
All right. So I'm going with, our next matchup here, Derek Carr or Deshaun Watson.
I'll take Deshaun Watson still to this day. I still have not seen what everybody else sees in Derek Carr.
He's pretty.
Sorry, I know, Drew.
He's pretty.
I'm rooting for him because I do like the Saints, but
Deshaun did not look good at all in the games that he played last year. I know he was he never got a chance to really practice with them, but as the year progressed, he did not look any better as it went on. Right. And he's got weapons around him. He's got help around him. Like, that team was set up to just add a competent quarterback and take off. I'm going to go ahead and take Carr, and that's not my Saints bias coming out. That's just, I don't believe Deshaun is Deshaun like he was
when he was with Houston, and great 28 and 26 as a starter. I'm going to go with what'd you say?
I said I got cake going on, but I'm taking Derek.
All right. I'm actually, man, this one's tough for me too, because I do believe that Deshaun's got a lot of talent. And Derek Carr, you know what? I'm going to take the Derek Carr from the Pro Bowl. I'm going to take Derek Carr from the Pro Bowl where he was on fire. I'll take Derek Carr to go up against Bryce Young.
He was on fire because he was trying to show them, hey, look what y'all lost.
That chip on the shoulder might be huge for Derek Carr this year. What about for you, Ian? Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson?
I think Deshaun has a higher ceiling.
Okay.
I don't know that he's washed up. I also don't know that he isn't. I think Deshaun, the guy came in halfway through the year. He got really no chance to warm up. He got no preseason. Now he's had an entire year to rehab himself, get himself back into the proper shape, get to know his personnel in Cleveland, get to know the system that he's playing in, really acclimate himself to what will now be his future in Cleveland. And I want at least 1 year to see what happens, because it's not like the guy went out and got the crap kicked out of him for 2 years, 3 years before he landed in Cleveland. I mean, he was out of the game. So that's plenty of time to rest up. And I get it that a lot of rust can come with that. And I want the opportunity to see if that's rust or if it's just you're that much past your prime. Derek Carr's another one that I know what he is. I put Derek Carr, if there are, 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, I'll put him around 16th, 17th, 18th. He's a mid-tier quarterback. He's not a game breaker, particularly at this stage in his career.
All right.
Solid player and a guy I respect a lot.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of where I put him in the pantheon of NFL quarterbacks right now.
What you got, Ginger?
As a Saints fan, I'll take the 16th, 17th best quarterback in the NFL, because with the weapons around him and the defense that we have, that's all we need.
And in that division, he's probably still the best quarterback in the division.
I mean, when you look at it, really, Bryce Young is a question mark.
Right.
You cannot put anything there that happened in college. Baker Mayfield, his best years are behind him in college. And Bryce Young could very well be the same exact thing as Baker Mayfield, provide excitement, but just longevity is just not there. Derek Carr's up there. Then
Desmond Ridder.
Come on now, it's going to be Taylor
Did
Heineke.
Carolina go and pick up a vet?
Andy Dalton.
Okay, I thought I remembered that they signed a vet somewhere in there to hold down the fort to at least midseason.
I still think Jameis is the best quarterback in that division.
You could. I would say I'd still take Derek Carr to an extent, but man, I think Jameis deserves another shot. But why didn't he win the job last year? Was it Dennis Allen? You know what I mean? Like, there was injuries. 100%. But then when he got healthy, they kept on going back to Andy Dalton, and it made sense because Andy Dalton was putting them in the best position to win games.
What has me excited as a Saints fan coming into this year is Derek Carr has never had a top 15 defense behind him.
Okay.
And he's still taking teams to the playoffs, taking the dysfunctional Raiders to the playoffs.
And what the Raiders did to him last year was just kind of like, what are y'all?
And it's coming out here recently that apparently they made his wife cry. Like, that was just okay.
Well, how did they make his wife cry, though?
He never said how. He just said when they made my wife cry, that's when I knew it was over.
I'm sure that there's like 32 other teams or 31 other teams who have made it that at one point in time the quarterback's wife cried. Not sure about that, but just saying, like, the way that these quarterbacks are in the media constantly, you know what I mean, and they're getting beat up verbally speaking. I wouldn't be surprised at that. But who knows? I mean, they could have done something very nasty, but I feel like if it was, that would have been brought to light. But it is time for us to take another break, and when we return, we will get back into this little quarterback tournament. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is on location at Dave & Buster's. The Afternoon Underdogs are broadcasting live at Dave & Buster's Pier Park with half-price cocktails, half-price games, free Dave & Buster's game cards, and choice swag from ESPN Northwest Florida. Join David, Kyle, Amanda, Drew, and a cast of sports fanatics every Wednesday from 4 to 6 with fun and prizes at Dave & Buster's Pier Park with ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a wind around 1 mile per hour out of the west-northwest and a low of 80. Tomorrow morning, look for a calm wind and sunshine with a temperature near 92. In the afternoon and evening, a high around 92 and sunny. Friday hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
You know the break room for the best pool tables in Bay County. But did you know they now serve delicious food? Check out the break room's daily lunch and dinner specials like spaghetti and meatballs, meatloaf with mashed potatoes, air-fried chicken, and more. Plus the best burgers, hot dogs, and you gotta try the Sammy of the day. The break room on Panama City Beach at the corner of Joan Avenue and North Lagoon. For more information, check them out on Facebook.
Chef Ross here. We're open daily at 11 at the break room.
Byron Beggs' 100th win for the 24 team. I'm Susie Armstrong. The story next on NASCAR Today.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, you know what I don't get? Why is that company always telling you to just do what? What is it? To just look like everybody else? Or maybe just pay way too much for your shoes? Well, at Skechers, we know what we want you to do. Just slip in. That's right, just slip in. To do hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Why? Because slip-ins are the easiest, most comfortable shoes ever. You don't have to bend down to put them on. You don't even have to touch them. Find slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
William Byron took advantage when his teammate Kyle Larson and Trackhouse Racing's Ross Chastain tangled in the final circuits to navigate the number 24 car to victory at Darlington Raceway in Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series Goodyear 400. In the process, Byron collected the 100th win for the iconic Kendrick Motorsports Chevrolet team, sporting livery from Jeff Gordon's 1998 50th anniversary All-Star race run.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we've had some amazing throwback schemes over the years, thanks to Exalta. This one definitely takes the cake. It's in victory lane, so we finally got one that worked out our way, and just pretty amazing what all happened there to go our way, and just thankful.
I'm Susie Armstrong. This is NASCAR Today on the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, I'm Tracy, your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. Shopping for the perfect diamond can be difficult, but that's why I've trained my staff to be helpful and to offer you a stress-free diamond experience. Pick your sparkle and use our easy layaway plan. Every woman deserves an exquisite diamond from your diamond girl at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We don't work on commissions.
We work for smiles and I-dos.
So if you're tired of high-pressure salespeople, stop by and see us today at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
ESPN Northwest Florida is on location at Dave & Buster's.
And we're back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. It's 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. They're at the Forgotten Coast. All right, we left off with our little quarterback tournaments here, and we're on to the second side of the bracket, which leads us to Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers. Drusif, what do you like here?
Rodgers.
A-Rod.
Kirk Cousins, I love him. I'll be Miles here for a second. Non-prime time, oh, give me Kirk Cousins all day. Prime time, no thank you. And when do the playoff games come? Prime time.
Yeah.
So give me Rodgers.
I'll take Rodgers. No-brainer here. Again, we know what Kirk Cousins is. He's been that for a very, very, very long time. Now the question becomes, how much does Rodgers have left in the tank heading to NYC?
Ooh, I like that. What about for you, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, this is easy to quote Miles again. This is Aaron Rodgers all day. But I do think that Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in the league.
All right, I like that too. For me, man, I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers for sure, but the difference is that with Kirk Cousins, I could make the argument that Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings are going to have a better season than Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And so by that case, I would take Kirk Cousins, but I'm going to take Rodgers for the time being. I just think with the addition of Jordan Addison and the departure of Adam Thielen that's going to not necessarily open up Justin Jefferson, but it's going to open up Jordan Addison. And I don't know if Adam Thielen did a lot of great for the league, for the Minnesota Vikings, but Jordan Addison or Adam Thielen, I think Jordan Addison's going to be open a lot this year, and there's going to be a lot of talk about him. And then the addition, as I mentioned yesterday, a full offseason with TJ Hawkinson as your tight end, which is another security blanket. I would love to take Kirk Cousins, but I'm going to roll with you guys and take Aaron Rodgers. Moving to the next tier, Geno Smith or Desmond Ridder. I'm going Geno Smith here just because I don't even think Desmond Ridder is going to be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. If he starts out the season as QB1, that'll be like week 1, 2, 3. After that, boom, Taylor Heineke's taking over.
Yeah, like you said, Desmond Ridder's not even the best quarterback on his team.
Yep.
So, I mean, pretty easy here. Geno.
I can't believe I'm picking Geno Smith for anything, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on the year that he had.
Yeah, I'm going to take Geno, too, and I agree with you, Dave. I don't even think he starts week 1. I think this is already Heineke's team, the most underrated, serviceable quarterback in the league.
He's like the modern-day Ryan Fitzpatrick outside of he just got started on his journey.
Right.
But he definitely is one of those guys that can, provide that spark. Even if he's on the bench, he hits the starting, he becomes QB1 and he provides a spark.
He reminds me if you put Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tyrod Taylor together. Like
nice.
It's a 240-yard quarterback with a touchdown and a pick. You're not going to win the game because of Heineke. You're not going to lose the game because of Heineke.
Yeah.
But he's going to make good plays.
I love that comparison there. And then our last two matchups, we've got Brock Purdy or Joe Burrow. This is a tough draw for Brock Purdy, especially coming off of the injury. So my choice is very easy here, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. I mean, not because I'm wearing his jersey, but Joe Burrow.
Yeah. And that's a pretty easy draw.
Cut and dry. We won't even talk about it any longer here. And then the last one, I think this one's pretty easy as well. Justin Herbert or Mac Jones. I mean, why would I even think any other way here? Mac Jones all day. No, I'm just kidding.
Justin Herbert. Alabama fan, yes.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
J Herbo.
All right, so I hope you guys remember who you got here. I've got me and Ian's taken down here. So my first one, my is Kyler versus Lamar. I've got Kyler Murray going up against Lamar Jackson, and I'm going to take Lamar from there. And then for Ian, it was Kenny Pickett going up against Lamar. Who would you have out of there?
I'll stick with Kenny Pickett.
All right.
I had Pickett against Lamar, too, and I'll have to go Lamar in this case as well.
I had Pickett versus Richardson, and I'm going to go with Pickett.
All right. Next for me was Bryce Young going up against Derek Carr, and I'm going to take Derek Carr here. For Ian, it was Bryce Young going up against Deshaun Watson.
You know what? I'll stick with Deshaun.
All right.
Yeah, I think I had that same matchup, and I'm going to go Deshaun Watson, too.
I have Pickett versus Carr. Bryce versus Carr, and I'm going Carr.
All right. I like that as well. We'll move on to our third. I've got Lamar versus Carr coming up next, but for now we're doing Aaron Rodgers versus Geno Smith, and another easy one here. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers, and for Ian, he had Rodgers versus Geno Smith as well.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rodgers.
Rodgers over Geno.
There you go. And then finally, this is a good one here. I got Burrow versus Herbert. Burrow versus Herbert. Look, I love what Justin Herbert brings to the game. Watch out for those Chargers this year. They're going to be a little bit more healthy, at least to start the year.
That's what we always say.
Right. No, 100%. And but what I'm getting at is, if they can get healthy on that front, and Rashawn Slater is protecting his blind side, and Austin Eckler, does Austin Eckler things, I think that the Chargers got a great chance this year, as we've been saying for the last 2 years, but still I'm taking Joe Burrow.
I'm tired of hyping up the Chargers. I've been burned by them in the past. I don't believe in them. It's cut and dry. Herbert reminds me a lot of Dan Marino. All the talent in the world, but will never win anything.
That's a deep cut. That one cuts deep.
Give me Herbert.
Ian, you got me.
No. I'm going to let Kyle Wright respond before I weigh in on that. I'm going to give him dibs on the response there.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. I think if you talk about Marino in today's game with today's rules,
he's murder.
7,000 yards, every bit of it. Especially, golly, can you imagine him with the Dolphins receivers now?
Yeah. Oh, it'd be murder.
Because he kind of had
I'm
duty.
not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying.
Oh no! Well, you all the talent in the world, but he'll never win anything. That's.
I'm not saying it's him.
Well, that directly. We're talking about the quarterbacks.
He's handing out facts, though.
We're talking about these guys.
Yeah.
So it is about them.
Well, him and his situation, just like Dan Marino in his situation, never won anything, and I don't think that Herbert will either.
Okay. Well, Marino did go to the Super Bowl. Did lose it, just like Joe Burrow. So really, they are on the same path. Those two are on the same, really a more similar path at this point.
These are the shots I
has
like.
not been back. Has not been back. Just like Burrow will not get back. So let's go. I'm going to take Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow in this situation.
He did that out of spite. He did that out of spite.
I will tell you what. I'll tell you what. I think that the Bengals have done a better job for their quarterback of putting the weapons around him and building the offense to their strengths. Joe Burrow, not a really good downfield passer. So what do? They get the speed slot receivers, and it's ball out of his hand in 2 seconds. If the Chargers would do that for Herbert, he would be the best quarterback in the league.
I like that take, and I with Joe Burrow, I think any quarterback that's the mantra of success is get the ball out of your hands. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Drew Brees. We can throw the ball downfield all we want to, but if you're not clicking on those short 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes, then you're not going to be able to accumulate all the passing yards that you need to. Ian's next matchup is again here Burrow versus Herbert. So which direction are you going
Joe
in?
Burrow. Yeah, I think Joe Burrow has the more upside here.
All right, so moving on then, we're moving on to the semis essentially here. I've got Lamar Jackson going up against Derek Carr, where I would take Derek Carr for the sake of healthy. So, if I got Lamar Jackson here, game 13, according to the last 2 years, he's out, whereas Derek Carr is at least going to be there unless he got benched.
Right.
And the Raiders, I don't know why. I still don't have any idea why in the world they benched Derek Carr. So I've got that. And then for you, Ian, it's Kenny Pickett going up against Deshaun Watson.
Going to roll with Deshaun Watson on that one.
All right.
For me, I got Lamar against Deshaun here, right?
I think so. I'm not keeping...
Yeah, it's been a while for me.
Yeah.
Let's say... Golly, that's tough.
That is a tough one, Lamar, Deshaun Watson.
The battle of the prima donnas. I think Deshaun Watson's the better quarterback.
All right.
I've got...
Go ahead. I was going to make a massage joke, but probably not a great idea.
I've got Pickett versus Carr, and it's Carr easily. If you look at my picks that I've picked, Carr had a walk to the championship.
All right. The next one, me and Ian have the same exact matchup here. I think all of us do pretty much outside of maybe Kyle, but Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Burrow here. I'm still, the old guard is great and everything, but give me Joe Burrow at this point.
I believe in Joe Burrow as well. Yeah, I think Burrow's the real deal. I think Burrow's probably one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, you have Rodgers versus Burrow as well.
How many times has Joe Burrow won the Super Bowl?
0.
How many times has Joe Burrow finished top 3 in MVP voting?
Oh, he's still got a long way to go.
Okay. Well, we are comparing 2 quarterbacks here, so long way to go.
But I'm talking about
you're proving my point.
No, I'm not either, though, because I'm not talking about who had the best career. I'm saying who do I want on the field for me if I'm creating a Madden team or if I'm the NFL GM or whatever. Who do I want on the field for me at this particular time? Like where we're at.
So that's your
today.
criteria.
That's the criteria that I'll change it how I see fit, Kyle.
Okay.
So listen here. All right, we've got the championships now, which is going to be for me. Wait, where you at? Well, jump in, brother. Don't let me run you over.
He never voted his.
Oh, yeah.
I have Herbert versus Rodgers, and I've got Rodgers. There's 32 quarterbacks going to start in week 1, and I take Rodgers over at least 25 of them.
Okay, that's fair.
I've got Rodgers versus Burrow. There's just I want to take Rodgers so much right here, but there's just so much that's pulling me back because of all of the years that he's played in,
because of my wardrobe,
all of the years that he played in Green Bay and only had with those teams and only has one Super Bowl to show for it.
Yeah.
It's the Brett Favre story all over again.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, I mean, we've seen this song and dance, and that's not to say that that's the way it's going to go down with Aaron Rodgers. I think there's legit chance he could still be a very, very, very top caliber player. But we've seen this. I look at a guy like Joe Burrow, who's just now coming into his own as a young player. That's why I roll with Joe Burrow.
So how many years until Rodgers is a Minnesota Viking?
It's supposed to be one.
Yeah,
but
right.
The reason I'm going to pick Burrow is if we're the NFL GM and we want our quarterbacks to be we're picking who we want. Joe Burrow is a self-starter. He needs no motivation. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have that chip on his shoulder. He's got to be extra motivated. That's why he's had this lull in his career.
I think that's why he wanted to go to New York to the Jets, though, because it gives him a chip on his shoulder in a sense, not necessarily a chip, but just some added motivation with the Green Bay Packers, the fan base loves me. Like, it is what it is. When I come over here to the Jets, I have to prove stuff. It's not just given to me in a sense.
But that proves my point.
Right.
I don't want a quarterback that has to have something. I don't want to have to give my quarterback, especially my quarterback, a reason to perform to the utmost, to go and show up in the offseason and work with new wide receivers. I don't want to have to give him those reasons. I want my quarterback to do that on his own.
I like it. So my final matchup, the championship here, if you will, which, I mean, not the greatest bracket in the world, but a little bit of fun. Derek Carr going up against Joe Burrow, easy money. Joe Burrow wins it all here. And then for you, Ian, it's going to be Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow, which I think could be a little bit tougher there.
No, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow. The Deshaun train has officially run out of gas at the massage parlor.
What's your championship here? Okay, we're gonna.
Sorry, bud. I didn't mean to sneak one in on you like that.
I did not. He just said it so nonchalantly as well. He was like, "Yep, okay."
Drew, who's your championship?
I've got Carr versus Burrow, and I'm going Burrow.
All right,
pretty easy.
So you've got Herbert versus Rodgers.
Herbert versus Rodgers, and I got Rodgers. Right.
Yeah.
It actually would have ended up being Rodgers against Deshaun.
Okay,
but it would it's Rodgers regardless.
I like that though. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with Rodgers, Burrow, or Herbert if any one of those guys that made it to the end for you. I like that game though. It's a little bit of fun. It gets me ramped up for the NFL season. I cannot wait for that. Are you a Carolina Panthers fan, or who's your?
I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said that earlier.
I've been a Bucs fan since dating back to the Sam Weish era.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go way back with Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So not a lot of expectations there for them, but we are going to talk a little bit about your thoughts on the race at Chicago this week. We're going to be talking about
old school NASCAR fans. Don't turn off your radio.
Yeah, don't
stick
turn
around
off
for this.
your
And better yet, call.
They can't call.
We're
text.
We're gonna
get on Facebook. Pull over and get on Facebook.
MySpace me.
Pull over.
We're also going to get into Money in the Bank pay-per-view. What else do we got? We've got a ton of stuff to get into in our final segment of the afternoon. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We would appreciate your text at 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
That's what's so great about playing sports is you have an opportunity to, hit and win a game or catch a football or throw a football or make a game-winning shot in basketball. You're either somebody who wants to be in that moment or somebody who doesn't want to be in the moment. And the people that want to be in that moment are the ones, we end up
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a wind around 1 mile per hour out of the west-northwest and a low of 80. Tomorrow morning, look for a calm wind and sunshine with a temperature near 92. In the afternoon and evening, a high around 92 and sunny. Friday hot with a high of 91 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Ben and Deb Collins, owners of Bay Guns and Gear, have been in business since 2010, offering new firearms and accessories with a huge selection available for your hunting needs and personal defense. Turn to Bay Guns and Gear. They have the weapon for you. Discount pricing. And if you can't find what you're looking for, they'll special order it for you. Bay Guns and Gear, across from Grease Pro at 3115 Highway 77. Visit their website, baygunsandgear.com.
It moves fast. The High School Spotlight. Weekdays at 5:40.
Let's do it.
Sponsored by Barbaritos. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. It's our final segment of the afternoon. I'm David Hazel. I almost said I'm Drew Gorman because I saw you.
Drew Gorman.
I'm Drew Gorman, and I've got a head full of hair, and it's red. There you go. We've got David Hayes over there wearing pink today for Wednesdays. We've got Ian.
On Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah, Ian Malone with us today. Yo. Drew Gorman, Amanda Muller. I'm David Hayes, and I wanted to give Ian a little spotlight here. First off, you are an author.
Yeah.
And
allegedly,
but you got a new book out, The Last Argonaut, right?
Yeah.
And you gave me and Kyle a copy of that today, and on the 13th chapter, Kyle and myself actually get a mention in a book. Like, my name is inked into a book.
That's
right. Honestly, when he handed that to me and said, go to page 13, I'm thinking maybe, ESPN Northwest Florida or something like that is, but man, it said, David Hayes and Kyle Wright. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So first, kind of tell us a little bit about the book in and of itself, where people can go get it, and then let's talk some Chicago Race Week.
Sure. Yeah. Real quick, we're not going to burn a whole lot of time on this, folks. This is not an Ian Malone promotional segment. The book's called The Last Argonaut, and it's fitting that you're asking me about it while we're in the middle of a tournament for sports movies. Because while this is a sci-fi book, and I'm a sci-fi author, it's really, in a lot of respects, a love letter to all the sports movies that I've ever loved, whether it was Major League, whether it's The Replacements, whether it's Miracle on Ice, whether it's Field of Dreams, whether it's Varsity Blues. Like, all of those stories I get to kind of pull from in order to create this one. It just happens to be set, 10,000 years in the future. But it is a book about sports, and sports have reporters. So when it came time to draw up names for reporters, I thought, why not Kyle Wright and David Hayes?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. And also, I wanted to kind of dive into the before you even open up the the prologue?
Yeah.
Before you even open up to that, the book is dedicated to a very special sect of people, and then even beyond that. So with Hurricane Michael, Hurricane Ian, it's dedicated to the survivors of that, all of that good stuff, but then also to anyone, and this is my favorite part of it, to anyone else who's endured those type of situations.
Well, that very much plays a part in the story. The city, Akala City, which is where all this takes place, is a city that is still reeling from a natural disaster. And so that's really kind of the heartbeat of the story is, the team has to come to grips with the fact that this is about more than wins and losses. It's about representing a community. It's about helping people heal. And how sports can play a pivotal role in bringing people together. That's a theme that I love about sports. And so it just so happens that in a sci-fi context, I got to play with that a little bit here. Living in Panama City, that was an easy thread to write because, there's still tons and tons and tons of places around this area that are still recovering now,
right.
5 years later. So it's a long road. And it was fun to try and shine a little bit of a light on that with this goofy little sci-fi story that I put together. And it just felt fitting to be able to put that in the top. That, to all the people who, have experienced this sort of thing in real life, we want you to know we remember you and we have not forgotten you.
Absolutely. That is very powerful stuff. And Ian, this is available anywhere books are sold?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Go to my website, ianjmalone.net, run a search for Ian J. Malone on Amazon. You'll find it. Last Argonaut.
Drew, I think Drew's about to order it right now.
Yep. So
there we go, man.
Cool.
Good stuff. And then also, you're a big NASCAR fan. There's no doubt about that. But you also have some,
allegedly.
Yeah, also allegedly. But you also have some issues with what the direction that the sport of NASCAR is heading and stuff. And this week they're going to Chicago for a road course. Tell me what's your problems with that?
It's a street race. Big difference in a street race and a road course. Road courses is run on a circuit that's built to facilitate that type of racing. Street racing is notoriously bad. For as much as we, herald the Grand Prix of Monaco, let's say in Formula One, it's a horrible race. They haven't had a pass for the lead in 30 years, 35 years.
That's what I've never gotten. Every time that I've tuned into F1, I'm like,
it's boring as crap.
What am I watching here?
They've gotten popular because they put out a fantastic sports documentary called Drive to Survive.
So is tennis going to be taken over now with the break point? Why isn't golf in full swing? You know what I mean?
So, this is not NASCAR racing, all right? To me, and we talked about this off air, if some television exec somewhere with Fox or NBC said, went to Roger Goodell and said, what would be awesome? I really think this is a great idea that would grow the sport, would bring in new fans, could take us places that we've never been able to go before. Instead of playing the game in a stadium, let's play it in an arena. And let's make the field 50 yards. We'll even put nets around the goalposts. We as NFL fans would say, but that's not NFL football, that's arena ball.
Yeah.
They already have that. It's called arena ball. If you want to watch arena ball, go watch arena ball. We play NFL football.
Right. Just
and
like
it's on 100
3
yards.
weeks ago, you could have saw Antonio Brown and his team, the Albany Empire, but not so fast anymore.
No doubt. Hate that for that league.
I hate that. Well, I hate that for the Albany Empire because he comes in and just kind of, rules the roost and everything. They had won the last 2 titles.
Yeah.
And they'd have no chance now at the third because of their owner who could care less.
Yep, no doubt. But, to me, that's what you're looking at with the NASCAR Chicago street race. It's them looking at Formula One and looking at the explosion of Formula One and saying, maybe if we follow that model, we can get some of that fan growth too. And it's not going to happen because there are any number of series on the face of this planet that do road course racing much better than NASCAR. IndyCar is a far superior road racing product in every way, right? And even their street races get boring. Yeah. Grand Prix of Long Beach, fantastic event, steeped in tradition. Still a pretty boring race to watch most years.
I've been to the St. Pete Grand Prix a few times.
St. Pete Grand Prix, all right? It's a great party. It's a great event. It's not a great race.
Yeah.
And, and then that's what this will be billed as.
And then why is the crown jewel of the IRL, the Indy Racing League, the Indy 500?
Yeah, because it's always been that way.
Right.
It's at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is not just because don't they run a road course there at Indy as well?
They do. Yeah, they run that to open the month of May.
Yeah, but the big one is when they're racing the oval.
Yeah,
or
and they
whatever you want to call that.
That's one of the things that I've always liked about IndyCar is they've always done all of it. They do street races, they do road courses, they do ovals. All right, so to be a champion in IndyCar, you've got to be great at all of it. You don't get to just show up and kick butt on the ovals and then, suck it up on the road courses and still get to be a champion.
Yeah.
You've got to master your craft across the board in all disciplines. NASCAR, you are great at super speedways, short tracks. Short tracks in particular, that is the DNA of NASCAR. And I don't know what focus groups they're listening to think that, well, fans want more road courses.
Same
I don't
ones
know
as
NASCAR fans
Rob
who say
Manfred
that.
and the MLB.
Right. So, I don't know what they are listening to. This will be a great party. As I said about the Busch Clash in Los Angeles, everybody goes to the circus the first time because we want to see the monkeys throw the poo. And then once we've seen the monkeys throw the poo, we're bored with the circus. They couldn't sell out the Busch Clash in year 1. They absolutely couldn't sell it out in year 2.
Yeah.
I would expect the Chicago Street Race will be the same way. People will show up to see what it is, and then it'll be gone. But it's already pissing off the people in Chicago because of what it's doing to their traffic in their city. Like, there are people in Chicago that are absolutely livid about this event.
Might not be the best city to take off.
No. So I'll be very surprised if this sticks. NASCAR is very quick to say, we're doing whatever it takes to grow the sport. Lots of ways you can do that.
Well,
this is not the way.
Do you know why the race is in Chicago?
What do you got?
It's because the first original race was in Chicago.
Okay.
Oh, the first original street race?
The actual street race was in Chicago.
They wanted it to feel like, since it's in Chicago, like they'll be able to dodge bullets and everything flying, so it'll feel more like they're playing in a video game.
But does NASCAR still have the, is it only ovals, or do they still have dirt tracks?
They got Bristol dirt.
They put dirt on Bristol and call it a dirt track.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible, horrible race.
I've heard that might
these cars are not built to run on dirt.
Yeah.
It's an awful race.
So that makes my question that much more fun. Would you rather watch a dirt race or a street race?
Dirt race
in
all the way.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Watching cars. Go watch a World of Outlaw race, son.
Yeah.
Like, that is a dirt race, boy.
You just got your
World of
advantage.
Outlaws. Those guys know how to run dirt. That's
puts pressure on me.
Although, where's Kyle and Nick at?
Watch USAC and the sprint cars and the midgets and all those guys up in Indiana. Those guys know how to wheel it on dirt because they're racing cars that are built to run that. NASCAR is not, NASCAR is not meant to run on dirt. These cars are not meant to run on dirt. So
Whoever wins at Chicago is going to get a little money in the bank. Speaking of the WWE, money in the bank and the pay-per-view.
I see what you did there with a segue.
Yeah.
Well done. It's like you're professional.
That's why he's in a book.
That's right.
Yeah, right. There you go. There you go. I appreciate that, Drew, and overwhelmingly appreciate you, Ian, for writing and pinning it in there.
I'm overwhelmed by that.
But let's talk a little bit about Money in the Bank. What you guys think? The state of WWE, all that good stuff.
Pull up the Dave or Kyle.
Pull up the
card real quick for that while we're kind of BSing. It's a fun time to be a WWE fan, it would seem.
Yeah, well, I'll let Dave run through the card. I feel rejuvenated.
Yeah,
Ian, I feel rejuvenated. I think that the Bloodline story is the most beautiful story that's been told in wrestling in a very long time.
Yep.
And I think that they are feeding off of AEW being terrible.
Yeah.
And WWE is taking off again. You could see that as maybe AEW lit a fire under them, or you could see it as like they're making a power statement. I don't know. Triple H is in charge now.
Allegedly.
Vince still has his hand in the pot.
Yeah, allegedly Triple H is still in charge.
But I've fallen in love with it again, man, and I'm so excited for Money in the Bank. Yeah. I know that the card's kind of extensive, so maybe we don't have time to go through the whole thing.
Right.
But I will tell you that my pick for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, it is far and away LA Knight.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
They cannot miss their opportunity to put. To capitalize on this guy's fame, on this guy, the wrestling term that they use when you're popular is called "it's over."
Yeah,
like this guy is more over than anybody's been in a long time. You can just look him up on Twitter and listen to the arenas when his music hits. You can't fake it, and it's incredible, man. They've got an opportunity right now. He's 40 years old, so he's got about 5 or 6 years left. You can get him in his prime.
Yep.
Roman's going to take some time off soon. You're going to need somebody to carry the brand, and that's the guy.
They need a face over on the SmackDown brand, and he can be that guy without a doubt.
Yep.
Wholly agree with you on LA Knight. First time I laid eyes on that guy when he came out as LA Knight after he had gotten rid of the whole Max Dupree gimmick and all that.
Yep.
I looked at my wife. I'm like, that guy's a star. Like, he's got the build, he's got the charisma, he's got the mic skills on a promo. That guy's a star. A lot of good wrestlers out there, not a whole lot of stars.
Yeah.
When I look at AEW, I really only see one, and that's Maxwell Jacob Friedman. The guy's incredible.
Yeah.
Who will probably soon be in WWE.
Yeah, probably.
But no, I think LA Knight is the way to go. My only fear is sometimes when WWE knows this is what everybody is expecting, they try and swerve you.
Yep, and it could be a Logan Paul victory, right?
WrestleMania, So I hope that we don't get that. I really want LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank. I look down the card at everybody else who's going to compete for that, whether it's Ricochet, whether it's, God forbid, Logan Paul, whether it's Nakamura. And then there's another
Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest.
Yeah, I mean,
those are what you call the spot monkeys in the match, by the way.
The only one in that I think you ought to keep an eye on is Damian Priest. That's a guy who seems like he's on the rise right now. Judgment Day is a massive faction that has really taken Raw in particular by storm. There has been some discussion in certain circles that he could be getting ready to make a face turn. So this would be an interesting place to start to make that storyline happen.
Quick question here: when did Seth Rollins win a belt?
So this was the new championship that they unveiled for Night of Champions. It's the Raw's new title.
Okay.
So just quick pick, because we don't have a whole lot of time left, because we're about to have to hard out. Bloodline Civil War. You got Usos, or you think Roman and Solo?
I think it's going to be Roman and Solo.
Okay, I think so too, but I think there's definitely some stuff that's going to happen.
Women's Money in the Bank. You want to take a pick at that? I'm going to go with Zelina Vega. I really like her. I think she's got great mic skills. She seems to be on the rise here of late, and Lord knows she got a pop at Backlash in Puerto Rico.
Trish Stratus.
Yeah, I see.
It's not going to stick around.
I see Becky's in it, right? Yeah, I see Becky winning it this time.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes, Dominic Mysterio.
Cody. It's going to be good, though. Dom's one of the top heels in the business. Didn't even mean for this to happen.
Gunther versus Matt Riddle.
Gunther.
I think Gunther.
Women's tag team, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan.
I think that Shayna and Ronda win on a heel turn by Raquel. So.
All right, and then I guess finally the WHC World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor.
Look out for the upset here, but
just thinking that.
I'm going to say Seth wins, but look out for Finn to be the champion.
I think if Triple H has his say, it'll be Seth Rollins by all rights. It seems like Vince McMahon really has a soft spot for Finn Balor. So watch for that last-second rewrite.
That is some great stuff. It's been a great show from Dave and Buster's. You guys have been riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You got one more thing that you need to say? I've got 20 seconds.
Well, I was just going to say, because I don't have time on the air. No, this is a wrestling thing. Nobody else will care. I'll say it to Ian.
All right. Ian will find out, and me and Drew will just run away and clean up all of our mess here. For Ian Malone, for Drew Gorman, for Kyle Wright, I'm David Hayes. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. Coach James Hell Show live tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then the Inside Drive from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you later.
Deuces. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Wyndham Clark, though, winning the U.S. Open 10 under. He was 241st in the world last year, the day after the 2022 U.S. Open. But since then, he's won twice, and he's won more than $8 million in earnings just in the last 6 weeks here. What'd you think of Wyndham Clark?
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Wednesday. Clear tonight with a wind around 1 mile per hour out of the west-northwest and a low of 8.